All right, so you're here for the deep dive on the Luigi Mangione case, and this one's got layers.
Yeah, it does.
Buckle up, because we're going from seemingly ordinary guy to a murder charge pretty quickly.
It really makes you think, like, how well can you know a person,
Exactly. And we've got news reports covering the arrest of Mangione's background.
right?
And it all starts with the murder of UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson
Mm-hmm.
on December 4th.
Wow.
But the real twist is that Luigi Mangione
Yeah.
was apprehended days later
Okay.
at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania.
A McDonald's.
Oh.
Okay.
So it wasn't some high-tech manhunt.
No.
It was a customer who recognized him from news coverage
Oh, wow.
and tipped off the police.
Huh. Classic. See something, say something.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be scary, right? Like, you're just trying to get your Big Mac. And
Yeah.
you look up and you're like, wait
Right.
a minute.
Yeah.
I know that guy.
Really speaks to the power of everyday people,
For sure.
helping solve these crimes.
Totally. But when they searched Mangini,
Yeah.
they found way more than just a quarter pounder with cheese.
Like what?
So they found a 3D printed ghost gun,
Right.
which is basically an untraceable firearm,
Right.
and they're often made with kits and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And this one was fitted with a suppressor.
Which
The suppressor muffles the gunshot sounds.
Oh, right. Right.
They also found a loaded Glock magazine,
Mm-hmm.
clothing, and a mask that matched the shooter.
That's scary.
Yeah.
That level of planning
Okay.
is like, whoa.
Yeah, premeditated.
And then they also found that Mangione was carrying multiple fake IDs,
What?
including one that he used to check into a Manhattan hostel right before the shooting.
Okay.
S-
So
like,
interesting.
I mean, we're already seeing a lot of evidence piling up here, but
Right.
the most revealing thing they found was a handwritten document.
Oh, really?
And while we don't know exactly what it said,
Right.
the authorities are saying that it indicated this deep-seated ill will towards corporate America.
Which gives us like a possible motive for this seemingly random act. So we've got a murder,
Oh.
evidence of premeditation,
Yeah.
and a possible motive.
Cool.
So here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh,
Because when you look at Mangini's past,
right.
it doesn't really add up.
Yeah.
We're talking about a valedictorian at the prestigious Gilman School
Wow.
in Baltimore,
Oh.
a master's in computer science from UPenn,
Wow.
even a stint as a head counselor at Stanford's pre-collegiate program.
I mean, on paper,
Yeah.
this guy's set up for success.
Exactly. So where did things go wrong?
Right.
So in 2023, he was working as a data engineer at TrueCar,
Oh, okay.
and he hasn't been employed there since.
Right.
We also know that he's got family ties
Uh-huh.
to a very prominent family in Maryland
Oh,
who are involved in all kinds of businesses, healthcare, real estate.
so very well connected.
Yeah, and his cousin is even a Maryland state delegate.
Wow.
So pretty well connected. And he was living in this co-living space in Honolulu
I've heard of those.
called Surf Break.
Yeah.
So it's like an intentional community.
Yeah, for like digital nomads and
Yeah, entrepreneurs and
right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But then he abruptly leaves
Yeah.
due to a back injury
Oh,
that was maybe made worse by all the surfing and hiking.
of course. Yeah.
I don't know. Are you starting to see any puzzle pieces coming together here?
Potentially.
Because
Well-
his online activity,
Okay.
like his Goodreads account,
What was he reading?
shows us some interesting clues.
Like what?
His reading list included the Unabomber's Manifesto
Whoa.
and several books about chronic back pain.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The Unabomber's Manifesto. That's a
Yeah.
pretty intense read.
It is.
What kind of connection could there be
Right.
between that and all this other stuff?
Totally.
Yeah.
And his social media profile picture
Ah.
is an X-ray of a spine
Oh, wow.
with what looks like surgical hardware. So could this be related to the back injury
Yeah.
that forced him to leave Hawaii?
Potentially.
And could that same injury have played a role in his mental state
I mean,
and ultimately his alleged actions?
chronic pain can have a huge impact on someone,
Yeah.
especially mentally and emotionally.
Totally.
And it can lead to feelings of isolation, frustration, anger.
For sure. And then you've got these posts from friends on social media
Oh, really?
talking about trying to reach him for months with no response.
Wow, so he was isolating himself.
Yeah, like withdrawing from his social circles.
Right.
And then he reposts this quote that says, "Being well adjusted to a profoundly sick society is not a measure of health."
Ah.
So you start to get a picture of what his mindset might have been like at the time.
Yeah, that's really troubling.
Yeah.
When you put it all together like that,
It's a lot to unpack.
definitely. It's like all these factors are coming together, right? The pain,
Yeah.
the isolation, being disillusioned.
Right, but how does any of that connect to killing a healthcare CEO? And if his motive was this ill will toward corporate America,
Yeah,
doesn't his family's wealth and connections kind of contradict that?
that's a great question.
He's like corporate royalty.
Right, and it is one of the paradoxes here.
Totally.
It's possible that he saw how wealth and power can be used to hurt others.
Right.
Maybe he even saw it firsthand.
Yeah.
Or maybe he just felt this moral outrage at the inequality.
It's possible.
Yeah,
So maybe this ill will was specifically aimed at healthcare.
could be,
I mean, his family's involved in it.
right?
And his victim was the CEO of a huge healthcare company.
Makes you think.
Yeah. And remember that handwritten document?
Oh, yeah,
Analyzing that is going to be key
for
to
sure.
figuring out what his resentment was all about.
Was he mad at specific companies or practices or people?
Exactly.
You just don't know.
And what about the Unabomber's manifesto?
Right.
Could that give us any clues?
Well, the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski,
Right.
was this brilliant mathematician,
Yeah.
but he rejected modern society and started bombing people he thought were ruining things.
Wow.
His manifesto is basically him ranting against technology and industry. He
Interesting.
thought it was all about control and destroying individual freedom.
So could Mangione have been drawn to that?
It's possible.
Like maybe he saw parallels with Kaczynski's anti-technology views
Yeah.
and his own issues with the corporate world, especially healthcare?
Maybe he saw healthcare technology as a way to control and profit
Right.
instead of helping people.
And could his back injury and the chronic pain have made things worse?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Chronic pain can make you feel so isolated and helpless and angry.
for sure.
So it's definitely possible that his pain and leaving Hawaii
Right.
and that whole surf break community
Mm-hmm.
just pushed him further away from everyone.
And towards those radical ideas.
Exactly.
So we've got this privileged upbringing that might have shown him the bad side of power,
Mm-hmm.
and interested in radical ideologies that question like everything about modern society, and a personal struggle with pain and isolation that might have fueled it all.
Yeah, it's complicated.
It really is.
And we have to remember that we're just speculating here.
Of course.
The investigation is still going on,
Right.
and there's a lot we don't know.
But let's say for a second that his anger was really aimed at healthcare.
Okay.
Why Brian Thompson? Was it just because he was a CEO?
Yeah, a symbol of everything Mangione hated.
Or was it something more?
That's what they're trying to find out.
Right.
They're going to be looking for any connection between them.
Like, did they ever interact?
Exactly.
Was Mangione obsessed with Thompson or UnitedHealthcare?
We just don't know yet.
It's wild, though, because everyone says he was a nice guy,
Really?
super smart, no enemies.
Huh.
Doesn't really match up with what we're seeing now.
That's the thing about people, right?
Yeah,
We're all complicated,
totally.
capable of all kinds of things.
For sure.
Maybe he just kept his dark side hidden.
Or maybe something happened.
Yeah, a tipping point.
That changed everything.
His injury, maybe? Or leaving Hawaii.
It could be anything.
Who knows?
But by looking at all of this,
Yeah.
his upbringing, his interests, his social life, the evidence, we can start to understand him.
And what might have led him to this?
Exactly. I mean, we've gone from McDonald's to the Ivy League to Hawaii to the dark web.
It's been a ride.
It really has. And trying to understand Luigi Mangione
Right.
and what led him to this point,
It's a lot.
it is. And we're not even done yet.
No, this is just the beginning, really.
The investigation is still going on.
Exactly. There's still so much we don't know.
But I think we've learned some important stuff.
Oh, for sure.
Not just about this case, but about bigger issues.
It's definitely like, what are your big takeaways?
Yeah, what would you be thinking about if you were listening?
Well, for me, it's the contrast between his success on the outside
Right.
and all the turmoil he had inside.
Like, you never really know what someone's going through.
Exactly. You can't judge a book by its cover.
It's like that saying, right? Don't compare your insides to someone else's outsides.
We all have our own struggles
Totally. And we need to be kind and compassionate.
and not jump to conclusions.
Exactly. And this case also shows us
Well, yeah.
how important it is to pay attention to people,
Yeah.
to notice when someone's struggling.
Like, check in on your friends
Exactly. And to make it okay to talk about mental health,
and to get help,
because you never know.
right? A simple act of kindness could change everything.
And I think this case also makes us think about
About what?
our relationship with corporate America,
Uh-huh.
with technology, with the systems that control our lives.
Yeah. Mangione's anger towards corporations,
Right.
his interest in the Unabomber.
It all points to something bigger.
A lot of people feel that way.
Like the system is rigged against them,
Yeah, that the little guy doesn't stand a chance.
and that the people in charge only care about money.
Right.
Obviously, violence is never the answer,
No, never.
but we can't just ignore these issues.
We need to talk about them.
Yeah, like income inequality.
The role of technology.
And why people don't trust institutions anymore.
Exactly.
We need to create a better society,
For
one
everyone,
where everyone has a chance to thrive.
not just survive.
Exactly. So this deep dive into the Luigi Mangione case,
It's been quite a journey.
it really has. It's about privilege and pain, brilliance and disillusionment.
And even though we might not have all the answers,
Right.
it reminds us that the human story is complicated,
It is.
full of contradictions and always changing.
It really makes you think.
About the choices we make,
The systems we live in.
our responsibility to ourselves and each other.
And as always, we want you to keep thinking about this.
Yeah. Share your thoughts. Keep digging.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.